Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Blueshirt Barn Hockey Show. My name's Tom Murphy. That's Jerry Spangenberg on the other end. How's everyone doing tonight? Hope everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend. We're watching the Edmonton Dallas game. Edmonton's up 2-1, and Dallas came back and tied this game before, but Edmonton, they look strong at home. And that's a really hard place to play. So I mean, we'll see how it goes. This series is getting kind of chippy, so it's moving along. It's game four, so
Yeah,
it happens.
yeah. I mean, it's close score. They're playing pretty tight, so
Yeah. Carolina last night like bounced back a little bit. We'll see if Florida can close them out tomorrow. Florida's not been great in 3-0 games, so we'll
Carolina,
see. I don't know. I think
Carolina came in and played their game last night. Like they
yeah.
they played well, and I mean, they can make it go seven. Who knows? But you know,
Did I don't know, did Florida like relax a little bit last night thinking they had them? I don't know, but we'll see tomorrow.
yeah, maybe. But they played their game, and they were faster. And as I said
They're
the other night, like the ice was tilted in Carolina's favor. But once Florida scored that goal, like they just folded. Last night they played that same game and they were way faster than Florida was. So
they're Florida's been great in the playoffs the past few years, but they're not great when they have that 3-0 lead. Their record's not very
yeah,
good.
well,
So we'll see if they just have to kind of like regroup a little bit and maybe get it together.
I wouldn't
You know
mind
what I mean?
seeing it go seven.
Mm, kind of doubt it. I don't know. I think Florida's going to knock them out.
I agree with you, but I would like to see it go seven. That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, you always like to see 7 game series in the playoffs, but like I said, it's just I don't know. Carolina's not been great in the conference finals, and Florida usually like once they put their foot down, they kind of get what they want. It seems like the last couple of years, so we'll see where it goes. But a couple other little things. Scouting combine starts next week, so something to look forward to. For all the draft people and the Ranger fans and whatnot. You know,
Yeah, game on.
we'll see if we keep the 12th pick or not, or maybe we pass that on to Pittsburgh and wait till next year. We'll see how that goes because of the JT Miller trade. But a lot of talk now, like as the draft gets closer. I saw like on the Daily Faceoff today, like they had like the top 25 trade candidates, and of course, like a bunch of Rangers made the list. Keandre Miller, Chris Kreider, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see where that goes. I mean, I think it's inevitable. The Rangers are going to get rid of at least 2 players in the offseason, whether it's Lafreniere and Kreider or Kreider and Zibanejad. I mean, you have all these combinations and all these. There's a lot of speculation about this and that, and we'll see where it goes. It's still a little early, but it's starting to ramp up a little bit.
Yippers. I think it's
Buffalo's a team too that like they say like every half the team is for sale, but I mean like I was joking around today. I said to somebody, I was like, "Yeah, Buffalo doesn't really seem like in a big hurry to do business with the Rangers, so I don't know if that's going to be much of a help to
I
us."
don't know
you
though.
know,
I keep seeing about Rasmus Dahlin and an $88 million done deal. I mean, I know it could be a lot of BS because we've been seeing a lot of BS along, but the more and more I keep
he's their
seeing it,
captain too, so like I don't know if, like they're going to trade him, and I just think that
we
owner
traded ours
has
already.
it has well, these we do a lot of weird things in New York. In the city, we do a lot of weird things, but like Buffalo, like I think has this thing with the Rangers where it's like almost like they're like little brother because they play up in New York State. Like I don't know.
That's why they're so
I
mad.
just, it's weird. They used to be such a good organization. Like the last 10 or 12 years, they pick in the top 10 every year. They just can't. They're not even like remotely close to making the playoffs, and you're just like, what are you guys doing up there?
It's
Like it's
almost like
just,
the lost team, like the lost city of Atlantis. Like, oh my God, there's
yeah.
Buffalo.
But like they used to be such a good organization. They could like, and they. I mean, if you're picking in the top 10 every year, you would think like the old saying, like a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. Like that they would be able to put a team together, and they can't get the coach right. Like they fire a coach every couple of years. It's just a disaster up there.
Yeah, Chicago's
You
right
know?
behind them.
Oh my God. Chicago's got 3 Stanley Cups in the last 20 years, though, so they
Yeah,
have a little something to fall back on.
I guess, but it's just like
I
you can
mean,
see.
listen, it's been really rough the last 7 or 8 years for Chicago. It's just, but like Buffalo, they've been like really, really bad. Like they just can't do anything right. It seems
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it's crazy. And like I say, you watch them play sometimes, and they have some good players. Like you say, Dolan. I think Owen Power is a really good player. Like that Alex Tuck is a really good player. Like they have like pieces, but it's like they just cannot put it together. Like where they even make any kind of like run to the playoffs. Like you get to like January and they're like 20, like they're like 20 points out. You're like, what the hell happened? You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Well, I
They're kind of a
I can't wait to
strange
see things
organization.
start to move. They got to get it done during the summer so we can have a real season this year instead of like a crybaby season. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, listen, to reshape this team, some people have to go. And like I
we're
keep
talking
hearing
about
like you see
Vegas,
like
by the way.
yeah, but like again, like a lot of teams need to like reshape their team. Like Buffalo's another team that needs to reshape it.
I've
It's
also
like
been seeing Mitch Marner handed in a list of teams, and two of his top teams were the Vegas Golden Knights and who was the other one? Shoot, give me 2 seconds. Let me look it up here.
telling you, a lot of people want to play for Vegas. That
Florida,
owner is
Florida and
well, again,
Vegas. That were two.
I'd like to play for Florida too. They're really good right
Yeah,
now.
for real.
You know,
But he has
Vegas.
Anaheim, Detroit, Chicago, Los Angeles, Florida, Vegas. So
You know, a lot of players want to play in Vegas because that owner is just go for it every year. But I don't see how that
I
I don't see how that can happen.
I also seen that Vegas also has to calm it down a little bit today. I read that too. That they gotta get more. Like if they're gonna compete more, they need to get more of a solid team because they went out and spent all this money on like Marty Stone and a couple other guys that were just not.
Mark Stone, they acquired Hurdle from San Jose last year. He's had some injury problems. Mark Stone is always hurt. Really good player, but just
Yeah,
getting a little older and his body's betraying him. You know what I mean? But and then you have Eichel, who's a free agent after next year. So we'll see
he's the
where
one
that
I
goes. I
think.
know
I think he's going to be the one to come to the Rangers this year.
uh, everyone's saying that. Yeah. Like he wanted to come to the Rangers a few years ago, but like I brought up before with Buffalo, like their ownership was not willing to negotiate too much with the Rangers, and it is what it is. For whatever reason, we didn't have the best package, but when you see the package, some people said the Rangers offered compared to what Vegas offered. Some people thought it was comparable. So again, I think they wanted to ship Eichel out west. Things were not good between him and their front office. So
Yeah, we're. I think you're
and
like we were just saying here that you're going to see Kreider, Lafreniere. I think those are going to probably be your biggest guys. I think that are really on the heads on the trading block.
and you know it, you have to sit down in the coming weeks with Zibanejad and figure out what you're doing with
Yep,
him.
yep.
Like if he made these like vague comments on the breakup day. Oh well, I know what my contract says. Okay, well if you don't want to be here, then get out.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Go and give me a list of teams, and we'll get you out of here. You know what I mean? And that's it.
because
And if he really genuinely wants to be here, because the second half of the season when they moved him to the outside to the wing, he played pretty well. He played better, I should say. And I don't know if Sullivan's buying into him. Like we'll see.
yeah,
You know.
we'll see. I know they better sign Will Cooley. That's all I know.
Yeah, Will Cooley's gonna get
And
signed.
Matt Rempe's
I'm not.
another one, and I know a lot of people are like, "Ah, he's a goon, but he's a role player." he knows his
Plays hard.
he knows his place. He knows what he's supposed to do, and he does it well. And he made a lot of progress this year. His stick handling
Did.
started scoring.
And one thing about a guy like him, I admire because he works hard, and he worked out with Kreider and a bunch of different guys in the off season. He lives with Jonathan Quick. I think he has his own place now, but still, I think he goes about things in the right way.
Yeah.
But like again,
Ano-
stay out of the penalty box, stop taking the foolish penalties, and we'll all be a lot happier with Will Cooley.
Another one is Adam Edstrom. I believe he's a restricted free
Yeah,
agent this year.
yeah, he is.
He's another good one who had a pretty tough injury this year because he was playing well. And
And every year you hear everyone's going to the more restricted free agents are going to sign, and all these offer sheets are going to be handed out and all this stuff, and it like never happens. So I'm not like crazy about like that. And listen, Will Cooley, if I were Drury, I'd be trying to get him signed now because
yeah,
don't even let him get to that point.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, why even
because you get.
let him where he can even? I mean, I get they can still match, but
I mean,
you
yeah,
you get
you're going to see offer sheets come out, but I don't know. Like he's probably going to get in that $3 to $4 million range, but
very few, but very few. Like every year, people say, "Oh, this is the year of the offer sheet," and it never happens. So it's like I don't know.
you never know. You
We'll
never
see where that goes.
I
And
think Rempe and Edstrom is like part of that thing, like that outline, that format that I was talking about. Like you got your scorer, you got your passer, and you got your guy who's going to go in there in the corners and dig that puck out, and then you're going to have him
mm,
in front of that net where he can take that. Where him and
yeah,
Edstrom will be good in front of the net. Edstrom was doing a lot of tip-ins before he got hurt because they can block the goalie. The goalie can't see anything, you know.
yeah. Well, you have like a small basketball team in front of the net, so it's
And you
that
know
helps.
they've been putting Kreider in front of that net, but I think it's time if Kreider did stay here that he has a different role on this team than standing in front of the net
Mm.
because
I just
he
I don't
can't
know.
do it
I
all
think
the time.
his game at 34 years old, like how much are you changing?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like he kind of is what he is
but
at this stage of the
he
game.
can't stand in front of that net anymore because his back injuries are getting bad.
Back, neck, not good. And that's why it's like the old saying in sports, it's better to trade a guy a year early than a year late before the wheels really fall off. And it's like, I don't know.
You're getting
To me, if I could get his contract and get him out of here, like, why am I hanging on to him? You know what I
you're
mean?
taking the oil, the grease can, and we keep greasing them up each year.
Yeah. Yeah, and he went through a lot of injuries last year, to be fair to him. But, I don't know. Like, I really don't want to hear about Jim Ramsey and Jacob Trouba anymore. It's over. Like, just move on.
Yeah. Yep.
It's seriously
I agree.
like
It's
it's
time to play
and,
hockey
and
and play as a team, not as a bunch of guys who are complaining because they didn't get ice time or their friends got traded away. It's a business. You're the employees of the business.
all it is.
Yeah.
And listen, Wayne Gretzky was traded twice. Bobby Orr was traded. Like Mark Messier was traded. Paul Coffey was traded. Like it happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Brian Leach got traded. Like Adam Graves got traded. Like, so it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
Like Henrik Lundqvist played for another team at the end of his career. I get it. He didn't really play for them, but he signed with Washington. But it happens.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's a business. It's not, and it's a hard cap business. So you have to always look at that because like people can say whatever they want, but at the end of the day, as soon as the season ends, like, okay, how are we going to get around the cap this year? Who are we going to sign? Who are we not going to sign? Who's getting traded? Who can we get to replace him? Maybe you know what I mean? Like it's a hard business right now in all sports. Except for baseball doesn't have a hard cap. They have a luxury tax, but these other sports, that's all you do. All the end of the year, you have these people up in the office. You don't know who the hell they are, but that's all they do is figure out the cap.
Yep.
Like, how can we get around it? How can we do this? How can we do that? You know what I mean? Like, it's it is what it is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up tonight's show. Keeping it short tonight. Not a lot to talk about the playoff cap and a lot of speculation after hearing. Stay tuned because the end of the playoffs are getting close. That means NHL draft coming up, and that means crap is going to get real. Trades are going to happen, and teams are going to shape up for next season. Anyhow, we will see you next time. Thanks for coming. Like, subscribe, share, all that jazz, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Thanks. Have a great night, everyone.